A lot of people work a 9 to 5 or work their day job, and then they come home and they don't do any work for themselves. They don't build on their strengths. They don't develop new skills. They don't learn new information. They're not putting time in on their business. They only go to work, and then they burn their entire energy source out for that day. They come home, they watch TV, they play video games, whatever the case may be. No knock to anybody who does this, but I'm saying you're making it's very impossible to just go every day doing the bare minimum, working a job. This job is not, their plan is to not make you rich. Their plan is to get the job done that they need for their company. They hired you to do that job. If they can, they will keep you in that role for the rest of your life. Many of you don't know, and the few who do are still puzzled by it, that there is a science to getting rich. There is an undoubtable step by step formula, mindset, process that anyone can get rich if they follow this formula, right? Now, typically, I don't take notes, but today I took notes. The science of getting rich is not only a method, but it's also a book. I read this book probably 2 years ago. And at the time, the information in the book was a little bit above my understanding, and I still had some growing to do, right? And as you revisit things, you follow back up on things, these things start to make more sense because you learn other things and everything's all connected. But this book was written by Wallace Wattles 100 years ago, over 100 years ago, 1910. And it changed the lives of so many people, and it still does the same thing. I'm going to go over with you guys some key formulas, some key information, but at the same time, I do want you guys to read this book on your own. I mean, you can literally listen to the audio of this book on YouTube, and it's a short read. I mean, you can get through this in a day. The book is like, the reading wise, it's like 2 hours. That's it. It's like a good movie, right? Let's talk about it. Let's dive into it. Let's touch on some key things. Let's help some people out, right? Before I go forward, he does claim that this information is a fact, and whoever follows this formula will get rich. And I would say from my time spent in like the business world with mentors, coaches, and things like that, a lot of these things are consistent. And a lot of these things you will hear people saying, like everyone's saying the same thing. That's what I mean by consistent. Everyone's saying the same thing. Everyone, you can see it in them. You can see the mindset. So I can agree with this. Not that I'm a millionaire yet, but that the people who have crossed that path, that threshold, I can see these similarities in all of them, right? Let's talk about it. So the first thing he says is one of the things, and this is just my deliverables from this. First thing he says is embrace your right to be rich, right? Fixate your mind on wealth being your birthright, that of abundance and prosperity. Your thoughts are your reality. This is a mindset thing, right? Understand this. It doesn't matter. Matter of fact, it reminds me of that perspective thing when it's like two people are standing on the both sides, opposite sides of the number 6. One person sees the number 6, the other person sees the number 9. And then when they're calling it out, this is a 9. No, this is a 6. Both individuals are indeed correct, right? Because it matters on what's your perspective. In life, individuals who become rich or are rich or on the journey of becoming rich, they tend to adopt a mindset that better suits where they're trying to go in life. Ergo, individuals in poverty tend to have a poverty mindset, and of that tends to consist of a victim mentality or woe is me mentality, or bad things are coming, and this fearful mentality. Those who are wealthy tend to have the opposite, optimistic. They tend to look on the brighter side of things. They tend to believe that great changes are coming, or they're on top of things, or they have favor, they have abundance, and that's the difference, right? If you embrace your right to be rich, everyone has a right to gain wealth. And sometimes we take for granted that for those of us who live in America, like literally you have a right to become rich. I know in other countries it's challenging. This book was written by American authors, so I know for some countries you might not resonate with that, but still your human right, your birthright, that there's nothing there's nothing you have to do to qualify for it. No one's going to prevent you from it, right? Outright, right? Outside of people trying to compete for the same thing. But I want you to first understand that it is your birthright as a human being, as a citizen of Earth, to be able to pursue and become rich, right? Also, that your thoughts will shape your reality. Not because of, I'm not talking about manifestation, I'm not talking about law of attraction. You guys can think that because it's not necessarily far-fetched, but I'm not talking about word magic. And I'm not saying that you can't, there's not power in the words and things like that. Yes and no, but that's a whole nother video, right? It's a whole nother video. What I'm saying is your thoughts shaping reality. That if you think you can, you will not allow yourself to go do so. If you think you can, you will continually to work effortlessly and relentlessly towards that goal, right? So your thoughts are going to police you or push you. That's what I mean by that, right? Moving on. Next thing he touches on it, he says that money is a medium of value. Money is a medium of value. Money is an integral part of experiencing all of God's creation, right? Deliver value to people and they will exchange that for money. The society that we live in, most things are traded for money. Let's talk about this. Let's go back. Money is an integral part of experiencing all of God's creation. That money allows you, money opens a lot of doors for you. It's going to create opportunity to live life the exact way you want. Maybe you want to go to Greece, Rome, or somewhere overseas, right? To experiencing the art, to experiencing the history, to experience your ancestry, right? It takes money to do that. Perhaps you want to go, explore the Arctic or whatever the case may be. Or maybe it's not even that deep. Maybe you want to be able to experience the Super Bowl or the NBA Finals in real time, present. You want to be there at the event, courtside, right? There's a lot of things that you are not able to experience God's full creation of earth, of man, if you don't have money, right? Your family, your loved ones, the people that you want to take care of and create experiences for and with, you're limited by the lack of money, right? Deliver value to people and they will exchange that for money. The society we live in, most things are traded for money. Understand that we still have a bartering system now. We still have a bartering system, right? I'll trade you this for that. And there's been times with people that we've exchanged skill, right? I'll do this because I have the skill. You do this because you have the skill. And money's not even involved, even though these things have dollar amount. But where you might place on my skill set, it might be more than you can afford, right? Or what I placed under the dollar amount. But the thing you're trading me might be of equal value in our minds. It's all perspective. Maybe someone else would say, oh man, you're getting ripped off. Why would you do that for that? But it's like, well, I need that and I don't have that money for that, right? So I'm giving them this skill set. Like, you can do that. But majority of the time, that exchange system, money is the currency in which we exchange things. And the value placed on that thing, like this is a freaking camera battery. The value on this might be $0 for someone else. For me, this is very valuable. For me to be able to record content, to be able to not have to worry about charging a single battery, but to have a backup that's prepared and ready to go. It's valuable because, you know what I mean? So like the value is perceived by the individual. The value is set by the market, supply and demand, right? Based on demand, they set the value, right? And the supply at the same time too. What I'm saying that is, if you focus on how you can as an individual create value, focus on creating value and delivering value to other people, then you will create wealth. Why? Because people will need the value that you have in your thing and use money as a bartering tool, as a currency to be able to purchase that. So ergo, everyone's going to buy the thing that they see as valuable that you own or you create or the service you provide, and they will give you money in exchange for that. It's simple, but it's so complex, right? This is an iPhone. They created this thing. It doesn't have to even be something so complex, right? The more complex it is, the harder it is for somebody to copy or steal your idea. But just think about, how can I create value? How can I solve problems for other people to make their life easier? It doesn't matter in which way, man. Like, think about it. Like, okay, what is McDonald's doing to provide an affordable meal for families? At their convenience. You pull up, you go to the drive-thru, you pay this amount of money, boom. Value. They're giving them, people are giving them money. I need an oil change. There's a place I can go get my oil change. I need groceries. There's a place I can do that. I need clothes. Like, everybody's just offering value. And the moment someone offers something that's more valuable for whatever reason, the same thing, less price, same thing, higher quality, whatever the case may be, right? Then they will steal that customer from you. Moving forward, get clear on your goals. Know what you want, right? Have a clear understanding of your goal in life, your definite goal, as what they say, strategy to get there, and a focus, right? The book says, it talks about Warren Buffett's goal was to become a millionaire by 30. Now, the book doesn't, but this is research, right? His strategy was to become an expert. So his goal was to become a millionaire by 30. His strategy was to become an expert at value investing. So he decided to find a mentor and work for them for free, right? He's working for them. That's the value he had at that point. His time to serve them, work for them, do whatever they needed done, helping them out, because he wanted in exchange the knowledge that they had, right? The wisdom that they had. His focus was to read 500 pages of company information per day, right? A definite goal or a chief aim. What do you want? It needs to be clearly defined, right? Yeah, we were talking about this in the Discord the other day, and if you guys haven't joined the Discord, and links in the description and typically in the first pinned comment. We were talking in the Discord, like, how much money was enough for you a year was enough for you to feel like, I don't really have to work that hard anymore. Like, I don't have to grind that hard anymore. I could just ride this thing out. And people were giving different numbers. And for me, because I'm not a greedy individual, but it's not, and I'm going to talk about this in another point. I'm not a greedy individual. However, it's not really about greed. It's about, what do you want this for, right? So my thing is, at my base level is $500,000. It's not really that much. And I mean, like, liquid, like this isn't, I'm not talking about revenue. I'm not talking about salary. I'm not talking about, pre-tax. No, I'm talking about, this is money to just like throw. You know what I mean? Like, already have money in savings, investment accounts, things like that. 500K liquid, not accounted for, not coming out of my expenses, not coming out of, nothing like that, right? Free cash. But the max is like, we're talking about, there is no ceiling for me. Like, you know what I mean? Because my thing is based on how many people can I help? So it's constantly me pouring things in. I would like to be able to pay myself at least this much to be like, okay, I really made it. But as far as the revenue that I'm creating and money that I'm creating, it's limitless, because my goal is to be able to help people. My goal is to be able to create spaces where people can thrive. My goal is to be able to pour into communities. So it's different between how much money do I want to touch or make or generate versus how much do I want to be able to, how much does it cost for me to live the lifestyle I want? Not really that much, right? But I want you guys to think about your goals. I I want you guys to think about your strategy, how you're going to get there. YouTube is my strategy, amongst other things, right? But this is a strategy for me to be able to start generating these things, getting into these things, learning these things, building these connections, and so forth. What is my focus? My focus is posting a YouTube video every single day, and so forth and so forth. And there's other things like that as well. Like, it gets deeper because the more definite, the more defined your goal is and your focus and your strategy, the more progress you're making, the easier it is to start doing so. But you guys need to understand what your goal is and why is that your goal, and then create a strategy for it. What are you going to do? How are you going to win this? How are you going to excel in this? How are you going to do this? Right? Moving forward. I believe, and I'm going to fill this up at the end. I don't want to make this too long. Here we go. Picture that you already have it, right? Tapping into infinite intelligence. That's what it talks about in the book. There's this infinite intelligence, right? Stay away from opposites. They will create disbelief. Here's the thing. When you have it in your mind that you will become a millionaire, a billionaire, whatever the case may be, you need to stay away from things that try to convince you otherwise. Try to convince you this is impossible. Try to put doubt in your head. Try to put fear in your head. It's very important for you not to become under the influence of things that are a direct opposition of what you are trying to build for your life. Right? Because if I'm saying I want to go to the NFL and I'm watching the news and they're talking about how challenging it is and the amount of kids that want to go to the NFL and the amount that make it and how kids need to go figure out something else to do with their life and become engineers or become welders or become electricians, plumbers, whatever the case may be, it'll create discouragement in my head, even though that there's a chance that I can be in that small percentile of individuals who make it. Why not just focus on that and give it all I got and just never even second guess it, never even doubt it, right? You have to filter out what's good for your mind to think about and what's toxic for your mind to think about. And the way you do that is by being completely aware and by blocking out and creating a life of that, right? Clean out your timeline. Not interested. If I'm seeing certain things on my timeline that are just not, I don't want my mind to even consider or to even gain awareness of, I'll just not interested, delete, remove from my feed. You have to really curate what your mind is able to take in. That's why it's important for you guys to I'm posting every day so that you guys can get this content every day, because a lot of you guys might not have this accessible to you in your environment, right? The people around you. So you have to really kind of dive on YouTube. That's why I made the Discord, so that you guys can be a part of a community that's pouring into each other, loving on each other, encouraging, supporting, and so forth, because you need to filter these things out. You need to block out things that are not good for your well-being. It's not good for your success. It's not good for your development. You understand? So this is very important. Another thing, it says, make every day a success. Squeeze the most out of every day and have patience. I tell you guys all the time, faith without works is dead. Faith without works is dead. You have to be doing everything you can every day to build momentum, to build progress, to develop towards your goal in life. But be patient. Don't think just because you just work 16 hours a day that you're just going to go crazy. Right? And that's another thing I wanted to make sure I wasn't jumping ahead. A lot of people work a 9 to 5 or work their day job, and then they come home and they don't do any work for themselves. They don't build on their strengths. They don't develop new skills. They don't learn new information. They're not putting time in on their business. They only go to work, and then they burn their entire energy source out for that day. They come home, they watch TV, they play video games, whatever the case may be. No knock to anybody who does this, but I'm saying it's very impossible to just go every day doing the bare minimum, working a job. This job is not, their plan is to not make you rich. Their plan is to get the job done that they need for their company. They hired you to do that job. If they can, they will keep you in that role for the rest of your life. Right? Their plan is to not make you rich. Their plan is to make themselves more money and you be a part of their team. So with that in mind, you need to make sure that you are doing stuff and you're getting the most out of every day. I don't care. I will go to work tired and exhausted and pull my way through that so I can make sure I'm still doing things for myself as well. I'm still building something like a mad scientist in the basement. I'm still developing something for my future. I'm not depending on anybody else to create a better future for me. Not an employer, not a job, not a friend. No, you. Get the most out of every day. Lock in. Lock in. What can you be doing today to get the most out of every day? Right? I tell you guys all the time, I'm thinking about how can I develop and better my mental health? How can I develop and better my physical health? How can I develop and better my financial health? How can I develop and better my spiritual health? Right? How can I connect better with God? Every day. Every day. Right? Sometimes you might neglect a certain area, like I missed the gym today. I ain't do anything for my physical health. I ain't even eat right. One day you might be like, man, I ain't even read my Bible today. One day you might be like, man, I really struggled with my financial health today. I bought something that I really shouldn't have bought. This was kind of dumb. Maybe I should return it. But it's just like the focus every day consistently, because all the days you're going to check each box. You're going to check each box most of these days, and you're building momentum, and you're building this up, and you're going to become better, more successful, better version of yourself, building a better life for yourself. It's the inevitable if you show up every day and get to it, right? Next thing, focus on creation, not competition. Focus on innovation. Do something different from what hasn't been done, or do something differently, right? Focus on your strengths and passions so you enjoy what you do. The blue ocean strategy, which I'll talk to you guys about. I think I told you guys about that before. It's hard to innovate in a space where you are inexperienced. Here's the thing. Focus on creation, not competition. In the Bible, the first thing it told us about God is that he was creative, that he was a creator, right? In the beginning, right? And it tells us that it goes through the creation story. That's the first thing that we really learn about God. We're made in his image, in his likeness. So we too are creative, right? There's ideas that you have that you need to take advantage of and execute them, even if they fail. See, the thing is that 90%, there was just like this meme I seen the other day, and it was like a basketball, like free throws. And 90% of people never even take a shot because they're afraid to miss. 90% of people. 90%. 6% of the people it said there was some percent. I'm realizing that I just told the story yesterday, and I think I didn't even do the numbers right. Anyways, it said like 9% of them take a shot, miss it, and just stop shooting, right? And then it said that 1% of people keep shooting and missing and missing and missing until they finally make one. All you need to do is to make one shot, and everything changes. Your entire life changes. Make one shot. These ideas you have, all you need to do is have one idea that wins. Know when to hold them, know when to fold them. Know when you have failed. When you've messed up your cash flow and you're too far in the negatives and your family is suffering and struggling, you got to know when to fold them. Get back on a level ground. Then have a new plan. Learn your lesson, learn what went wrong, learn what you could do better, and then jump back in it. But it also says here, there's certain things that you should really be trying to focus on. So innovation, you can't innovate in a space you know nothing about. Likely you already have strengths, and your strengths pull you into certain activities or things, whatever, that you tend to know more about, and you know if you have a true strength at it, right? If it's a true skill or a gift, because you're better than most people, and they work really hard to be not better than you at it, and you don't work that hard to be better than them at it. It's just natural, right? It's hard to innovate in a space that you aren't gifted at, that you don't have a strength at, that you aren't knowledgeable about. So that lets me think about passions. What are you passionate about? I'm passionate about personal development. I'm in this space because I'm passionate about this thing. So it's easy for me to try to think about how to innovate it, what is missing in it, because it also benefits me and it benefits so many other people when I show up and add value to the space, right? There's a space in the world that needs you, right? And you have to think about how you can innovate it by either doing something completely new, like electric cars, or just doing something better of what already exists, right? If I was making food, you think like, oh, okay, they do theirs like this. I'm gonna make a better quality version, a premium version, right? Why do you think we have the same things exist and then they all have space for? We have Apple, and then we have, which is the innovator, right? But then we have Samsung, who is the individual who believes that they're doing it better. That's why they're 1 and 2, and whoever, right? So that's what we're talking about. The blue ocean strategy is understanding to go where there's more fish and less fishers. To go where there's more fish and less fishermen, right? A red ocean is when there's a lot of fishermen and not as much fish. So someone's going to leave here empty-handed. When you create a unique proposition, a unique offer, there's going to be less people fishing at that pond and more fish. Ergo, there's more people searching for the solution you're creating and not as many people offering the solution that you're offering. And that is how you create something that doesn't focus on competition, but just focuses on creation in itself, right? Last thing, mindset is everything. I was looking at Jen Sincero, I believe that the woman who wrote You Are a Badass at Making Money. I saw her talking about this book, how it was the book that changed her mindset, changed everything for her. And the thing she said that she pulled from this was to think what you want to think. It is to think the truth regardless of appearance. What does that even mean? What does that even mean? It doesn't matter where you're at right now in life. You can be broken down, sleeping on the air mattress at your auntie's house with no income coming in and hungry and literally just lost everything. And you still have hope. You still have a plan. You still have a focus. You still have a strategy. And you're like, all I gotta do is do this, get some money coming in, save up, help auntie out here and there, and actually, you can convince yourself that I am in a great space right now to invest in my dreams. I don't have anything that I need to be paying for. Aunties let me stay here for free, and all I gotta do is get whatever job I can get, take that money and invest it into my dreams. You see, your reality is what you claim it to be. If you say that I'm cooked, you say that there's nothing I can do. I've ruined my life. I'm all out of hope. I'm all out of ideas. I'm all out of chances. Then you will start to live life as a zombie, as a floater, as a wanderer, as a hopeless, aimless individual, versus someone who says, there's so much great in this moment right now. If I can take advantage of it, I can win. When you understand that there's so much power in your mind to destroy you or to build you up, it all comes from what you claim the truth to be. Taking back to looking at the number 6 or number 9. They're both true. But what do you want to focus and hyperfixate on? The people who become rich in life are the people who always find the good in every opportunity, in every situation, and they pull on that as fuel and motivation to reach their goals. People who are poor, they tend to hyperfixate on and focus on all that's going bad in their life. And they use that as fuel to never try and escape poverty. I love you guys. Please take care of yourselves. I'll talk to you in the next video.